alternate reality.
I think I did watch part of that with you because I remember the video reels.
Yeah,
of them watching a film.
Yeah. Where Germany and Japan lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
like of the real alternate, like it's their alternate but our real.
Right.
So anyway, but these kids, they believe that. They believe that they can do this and that like they can go and interact with the character because there's an alternative universe where the Harry Potter characters are real. And they can interact with them and act out plot points and change things, and it becomes canon.
Okay, I don't know about all that.
And I'm like, it's a mental illness, right?
Well, no, okay, no, not necessarily because, and I don't know about them specifically, but there's the infinite multiverse theory,
right? I understand
where
that.
That's absolutely possible.
I understand that. I mean, I believe I've read about a lot of things, but that doesn't mean I can actually sit in my bed and become a Harry Potter character.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to be.
If they're actually meditating and believing they're in a, I think they're just lucid. They figured out how to lucid dream, which I've tried before and I can't do it.
Yeah,
but there are a lot of ancient cultures and especially native, and like down South America type native that believe that, especially if you take like ayahuasca, that you can
open up your third eye and shit.
No, that you can traverse dimensions.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and this isn't some shit that we read about that they did 1,000 years ago. They do this today.
I know.
And I've watched interviews of people who have talked about their experience doing this thing, and it's guided by a shaman,
right? And that, and I get
they
that.
seem to be quite serious about what they've seen.
Right. I mean, I get that, and I mean, I don't know. It just seems a little specific that Fred and George Weasley knocked up an American girl. That was the actual one I saw.
Okay, yeah, no, that seems a little weird.
Like,
that's
what?
Yeah, that.
And had to tell their mom. I was like, all right. Well,
so, do these people that are doing it, do they share the same reality? Or
no, it's all their own. Like in.
So I think they just, if they're actually doing it, I think they're just lucid dreaming.
Yeah, like one of them. Because the one that I first saw, that I was like, I don't understand what she's saying. I mean, I know the word she's using, but I don't understand what she's saying. She said something about had twins and she had this and they were so real, but now they're gone and she's mourning them. And I'm like, what? And I was just like, I mean, because imagination is great and all that. But I think it's dangerous when you like
don't know the difference between that and reality.
Yeah, I was like,
that's when you. If you weren't crazy before, you're going to become crazy.
It's fine to meditate, and it's fine to imagine, and it's fine to I mean, I used to basically lucid dream myself to sleep as a child. I would act out these scenarios, almost like self-produced plays in my head. Because it was one way to wear my brain out enough that I'd fall asleep, and I mean that was fine because I knew I knew what I was aware that what was happening.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean that's not lucid dreaming. That's just lucid dreaming. I've tried before, and my dreams are always so outrageous and weird.
Yeah,
that I think if I were able to lucid dream and like. Be able to do what I want. I just think it'd be boring. My dreams are so out there. I don't think I'd be able.
Much better than this.
I don't think I'd be able to create such a
it's just,
dream.
But I mean, and like I was like, is this like a thing with this fandom, or is this like a thing that is with this generation? What is the root phenomena here? That because they really seem. I couldn't tell if it was just like we're all going to buy into this fantasy and pretend like it's real, or do we really think it's real? Mm-hmm. One's okay, the other not so much, you know?
But like meditation stuff is, I mean, when you start talking about it, you're like, okay, maybe a little weird, but like those Tibetan monks who can wrap that wet sheet around them and meditate, and just steam starts pouring off of it.
Crazy.
I mean, you can't.
That's crazy. Like,
how do they control that? How do they do that?
Kind of the same way that if you concentrate hard enough, you can slow your heart rate down really slow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you just like that?
Yeah, it doesn't take just a whole lot of practice. The sheet. No,
have you tried to steam up a?
No, the sheet thing is different. It's a different process, but the idea is the same. And it's biofeedback is what it is. But what I've always wondered is, so like, let's say you're meditating and you start getting into this area where you're shifting. How do you know that's real and not just some shit that you're imagining? You know? That's the bitch. Because if it's real, I'll spend the rest of my life trying. But if it's some shit that I'm imagining, I can do that while I'm going to sleep.
Well, yeah, like when Mark put me under for hypnosis, and I started answering, like, after... I always thought if I was put under hypnosis, I would never believe hypnosis unless I was put under. Mm-hmm. That's how I started out. And then when he put me under...
It gave me more questions.
He's asking me all these questions, and I'm just answering these things like... I'm 12. I'm seeing these things, and, like, I'm not thinking about the answers. Mm-hmm. But then afterwards, I'm like, how do I know I wasn't just making that up?
Yeah, like, how do I know that I just wasn't, like, you know... just
drawing on something that I saw on TV.
Yeah, or read in a book, or...
But then I go back and forth because... I think it could be true, because I've always, like, Little House on the Prairie and stuff, like, I've always hated that. Like, I would never want to live out on the prairie. I don't like the way they dress. I don't like the prairie. I don't like anything about it. So I would think that if I were making
if you were going to choose something, it'd be like Egypt
I'd be like an Egyptian fucking queen or something, not out on the fucking prairie.
Well, I'm in some, like, reincarnation groups on Facebook because reincarnation and past lives fascinate the fuck out of me. I could listen to that shit all day long. People's experiences and so I'm in it, and I read a lot of really interesting things, but then there's always those people that
are a little bit crazy.
They tell you I was this historical figure.
Cleopatra.
Yeah, and I'm like, isn't it funny that nobody is a chambermaid?
There were so many Cleopatras.
Yeah, like why is no one ever Cleopatra's chambermaid?
Now,
like,
was he able to put you under?
Same as you, yeah. I mean,
what was yours?
Mine was, the first one was, I was in like I think it was Ireland, Scotland, Great British, and it was like I was going down through a lane to, like, my grandmother's house, and it was...
Oh, the cottage.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then the second one was, like, more, like, early, like, prehistoric Native American. Like, not like way before contact. Mm-hmm. Which, I'm kind of like you. If I was gonna... It would have been more... I think it would have been more 1700, you know, like, after contact, but, like, where there were horses and, like, you know, and... Because that's what I've always been interested in. That's what I've always been drawn to. And so...
And see, if it was something like that, like if it was something I was drawn to, like Egypt, I would have been like, I just made that shit up.
Yeah.
But to be the prairie is something that I have no interest in.
And the amount of detail...
makes me think.
Yeah, like yours, I remember how much detail yours had, and mine did too, like smells, and I remember, like, textures and things like that. And
I remember this field of just, like, blowing wheat and the tree line.
Oh my God, that would be death for me.
Yeah, like a field,
seriously,
a field of gluten, wheat. You know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, seriously, it's like, I don't want to be there.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe that's why I remembered it, because it was such a miserable time. I don't know.
I remember the crackling and the fire and, you know, the pounding of the, like, grinding with the stones, and, like, it was really weird. And like, if I had chosen, like, because there's two kind of things I've always been, like, fascinated with. Stonehenge, like, like, when I was a little kid and I would see pictures of Stonehenge, I would cry. I don't know why. Not cry like get homesick.
Like you missed it.
And I'm talking little bitty kid. And then I've always, like with the Native American horse culture, fascinated. That whole, because so much has been written about like the symbiosis, because like pre-contact they didn't have horses because they died out in the Americas, and when the Spanish conquistadors came in, horses escaped, and that's actually how the Indians got horses. And so it was one of those times they had no experience like riding. They used like to pull, they used dogs. And so it's, even when you think about it, the way the Indian horse culture evolved and how symbiotic that they got and how naturally just seamlessly they melded between animal and human is amazing, because it happened in
a pretty short amount
sociological time, like a very quick amount of time. And it just like, it was almost like the difference it made for them was almost like the Industrial Revolution in Europe. And so I've always been fascinated with how just like that one little random act occurring, that those crashed ships and the horses getting away completely just transformed this continent and how the people lived. So yeah, if I were, it was like your Egypt thing, that's where I would have been, and
yeah,
it wasn't
I'm thinking
like that.
Egypt or someplace with like rolling green hills.
Yeah.
Stuck on the prairie.
And then and like
so
you said,
miserable.
the level of detail was just like, that's been years, and I can still recall the way things felt and heard. And
for me, it wasn't that detailed. It was like, I don't remember smelling, but I remember the wheat and the tree line, and looking down, I had kind of like this dusty red colored dress, and I'm standing in just like dirt, and there was a wash line with stuff, and there was like this church schoolhouse thing across this dirt road. That's all I really remember.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I think he brought me out quick, because I know I was fighting it. And it's really hard. You would think hypnosis just nice and relaxed. I was really fighting it, because I remember he asked me how old I was. And I think at the time I was like 28, 29, something like that. And like, I am desperately trying to say like 28, like 28 wants to come out of my mouth, and all of a sudden 12.
You're like, no.
Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah. And that was the other thing about it that to me was really surprising, because I thought it would be like a dream where you're completely immersed, and it was more like
flashes.
It was more like watching something on a projector screen, like where you were in it, but you were also out of it.
See, for me, I remember looking down at myself, like I was standing there.
Yeah,
but you could also.
I was too, but I was also aware that I was like in that room.
Yeah, it's like you're in a dome, and you have this movie playing all around you, like on the walls of the dome. But you're also aware of what's outside of the dome. You could hear people talking. It's really
because
weird.
I mean, I could look down and like see my feet and things like that. So it was very much like I was in the movie, but then it was like there was also part of me watching the movie and aware of what was going around. It was just really weird, and that's the main reason I think that I believe I was hypnotized, because it wasn't anything like I thought it would be.
No.
I thought you'd be asleep and you wouldn't be aware, and I wouldn't hear y'all talking, and I wouldn't be thinking, am I overthinking? I had my internal dialogue the whole time going, is this could be bullshit. Is this bullshit?
Yeah.
Is this okay? Like, what's happening here?
And, like I said, only two reasons I think it was really true is because somewhere I don't want to be. And I remember trying so desperately to say something else
to fight against,
but something else came out.
Yeah, it was very odd. I would absolutely do it again. I would absolutely do it again.
Yeah, I'd like to do it again too. But there's still that part of me, even though I know there's still that part of you that's like, what if I just make it up?
but I think that's just kind of our nature. Like, we kind of question everything, and
that was really cool.
Are you giving us the time signal?
No, I was popping my arm.
Oh, I thought you were going.
No.
Yeah, it was interesting. Have you ever thought about, since Mark died, is he watching us from the other side? I have.
Only when you change clothes.
Oh my God, I forgot he died.